Good morning and welcome back to Stitched by LB. This is Laurie, and today we are going to be talking about weaving in the ends of our yarn, weaving in all the little tails of yarn that get left when you are making a project, especially when you're doing something with multicolors. You might wind up with ends of the yarn hanging out like this, and we're going to talk today about learning how to weave those into your work so that it doesn't come unraveled. What you're going to need for today is a tapestry needle. I like these big plastic ones. I can get them in bulk on Amazon for just a few dollars. You get 50 of them, and I think I paid $4 for the last set of 50 that I bought. They have a large eye, so your yarn fits through really easily. And just take a project that you've been working on, and you can practice weaving in the ends by starting with just the tail from where you started. Now, a lot of times you can crochet over your ends as you go, but sometimes it's not practical to do that, so we can weave them in at the end. What you want to do is you want to find a place where you can insert the needle and pull the yarn through that's going to be kind of inconspicuous. So I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to push it through underneath this first little row of stitches. You see the V from a stitch there? I'm just going to take and push it through several stitches all the way across here, just in a straight line. Just like that. And then I'm going to pull it through and pull it pretty taut. You can see that it doesn't show very much, and that's what you're looking for. Now, you could stop there, but the likelihood of your yarn coming unraveled at some point is pretty great, especially if it's laundered. So you want to give it a few more passes. So we're going to go back up. Now, if you go right back under here, you're going to pull it out. So instead of going under both pieces of that V, I'm just going to leave that one there and go under the second one. And then I'm going to go straight back through underneath the same stitches that I went through earlier. And out the end. And pull it pretty tight. Okay? Now you can stop there if you need to, if your tail's not long enough, but I'm going to do at least one more pass. So I'm going to skip that first one, go under the second one, and go back under those stitches. And I'm going to pull it through, and it's pretty tight. There's enough of a tail here left that I could probably do another one. So I'm going to skip that first one. And since it's pretty short, I took it off of the needle. I'm going to pull the needle and push it through those stitches and then rethread it and pull it through one last time. And then you can just trim this little end here, and the tail is going to be hidden and it's not going to come unraveled very easily. So that's just your basic weaving in of your ends. Now, things can get a little more complicated when you are weaving in to stitches that have lots of gaps, or when you have a lot of ends to crochet into or weave into your project. With something like this, you just have to put on your patient pants and just work very steadily and try and get all of your ends woven in so that your project doesn't come unraveled. So I'm going to start with this blue thread right here. I'm going to go up underneath that gold to get into all these blue stitches. Now I can try to kind of interweave like this, and that is perfectly fine. You can do that. But then again, you're going to want to weave it in, 3 or 4 times in order to make sure that it's pretty secure. So sometimes I'll even go and weave into the actual stitch down and then I'll weave across this way, just making it a little more difficult for it to come unraveled. And then I'll go back, and then I'll go across. And if it comes undone, you just rethread it, and you can pull it through. And then you can just trim that off, and it's less likely that it's going to come unraveled. And like I said, you have to be very patient because there's a lot of ends sometimes to weave in. Now, one thing you can do, in some projects it's okay, it won't show very much, but in others it might be very visible. If you're doing a border around your project, you can lay these all flat and crochet over them. But sometimes it makes, especially when you're doing a project that only has one end with tails and the other end doesn't have tails, it can make this end pretty bulky. So just, you know, work with it on your own and see if it's something that you would prefer to do, or you would rather just weave them in individually. I always would rather default to weaving them in individually to make sure that your project is secure and it looks good in the final viewing. And that is weaving in the ends of your crochet project. I hope you learned something. I hope this is something you can use as you work forward in your crochet journey. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me on any of my social media outlets, and I hope that you have a wonderful week. Stay tuned, like, follow, and share so that you can get next week's lesson on Monday. Thanks so much. Bye.